Let's get going. We're going to look at our first garden type, which is a dry shade garden. So that can be a clay or loamy soil or somewhere in between. These are the plant species that we're going to include in a 100 square foot garden. All these gardens we're looking at until the very end are going to basically be 100 square feet. So think of it either as a standalone 100 square foot garden or a module that you can replicate over a larger space. So our matrix is going to be Carex pennsylvanica, Carex rosea, or Carex albicans. All of these will work really well for you. Pennsylvanica is going to run on you a little bit, especially if your soil is looser. So a lot of people use that as a shade lawn replacement. Not a lawn you want to walk on or play sports on, because sedge don't like that very much. Carex rosea and Carex albicans are going to be more clumping species with some light self-sowing and spreading. So all those plants can be placed on 12-inch centers. If you're using Carex pennsylvanica, you might want to go on 6 to 8-inch centers. Then we've got wild columbine, wild geranium, early meadow rue, Solomon seal, white woodland aster, and zigzag goldenrod. We're going to go all through these plants individually for each garden, so don't worry. The numbers here after the plants tell you roughly how many you're going to need. So if you have a 100 square foot garden, you're going to roughly need 60 of those sedge. More for the pennsylvanica, probably. That 60 is more for rosea and albicans. You might want to add a couple dozen for pen sedge. The wild columbine, you're going to have a total of 10 to 15 plants and 1 to 2 drifts. So you might just want to have 15 plants in one drift weaving through the space, or you can have 2 that are 7 to 8 plants per drift, something like that. Keep in mind, wild columbine is going to go semi-dormant, if not fully dormant, by midsummer, and it will self-sow a little bit if there are some open spaces. And you want it to. You want these plants to spread a little bit. The idea that plants stay in one spot or stay there forever is ludicrous and ridiculous, but that's the tradition we have in most garden design and expectations that the public has when they hire somebody to come into their landscape. We want these landscapes to shift, to be dynamic over time, to change and be responsive to the climate around them so that they have greater resilience. That was a really cool sentence. I would love it if you would record that and turn that into a GIF or a meme or something like that. Okay, so, and then early meadow rose, same thing, 7 to 14 plants, 1 to 2 drifts. It certainly looks better in larger drifts because the blooms, either the male blooms or the female blooms on separate plants, they look totally different, but they certainly look better when they're in larger groups, okay? So when I say, what do I mean when I say groups, masses, drifts, all that good stuff? This is just a quick, here's a group of 5 on the top. You can organize that however you want. You can put the species really close together. You can put a couple close together and put in 1 to 2 feet away to make it look more natural. Drifts doesn't have to be a straight line like that. It can arc or curve a little bit. It can be like a J shape or something like that. But a lot of people ask me about this. So here's a nice visual representation for you to look at. So why am I choosing these specific plants for our 100 square foot dry shade garden? The behave sedge is going to fill in the ground layer to create that cohesive green mulch, and the sedge will also help build soil because they have very fibrous root zones, right? So they're going to be amending soil. They're going to be breaking up clay soil, getting air and water down further. Just wonderful things. The woodland forbs are going to lean on spring bloom, as is their nature with shade species, but these species provide season-long texture and contrast with the sedge, which is why I picked them. The geranium, certainly, well, all of them really. The meadow rue, I just love early meadow rue with sedge. It's just the foliage is, yeah, it's there. It'd be my second wife, right? No species will crowd out the other one when used in these proportions. So the forb species are chosen to slowly spread, surprise, and fill in over the years to create 2 functional layers. Ideally, we went 3 to 4 functional layers, but I think we're going to be totally fine in a garden setting with a garden of this size with 2.